Hey guys, what's going on? Carlos, CEO of G.A.R Capital, decided to do a quick live. Might as well. I mean, looks like everything's falling apart for the most part, but stuff that we really haven't already known ahead of time. So we told you guys Friday's rally was just a short covering, and we're gonna go back down, and we're back down. We're back to limit down on futures, meaning that we cannot go further down than we actually are. So I know you guys have a lot of questions. Our DM has been flooding. So let's go ahead and answer some questions while we're here. But let me go ahead and kind of speak about what to expect, what's happening. So let me clear this camera up. There you go. All right, cool. So right now, let me go and explain what exactly is going on. Right now, limit down means on futures, meaning it's S&P futures are down 4.79%, which is at 25.55.50. Dow futures are at 1,041 down, and that's limit down, and NASDAQ is down 4.55%, which is limit down. So limit down means you can buy some if you want, and you can go back up, but it can't go further down. It basically hit a circuit breaker in a sense. That's limit down. Circuit breakers are during normal market operations, 9:30 to 4, not futures trading. So just a heads up. Again, we saw this last week. So kind of don't panic. I mean, it's something that we've kind of already expected. So the world's not ending, guys. Let's keep that in mind. Let's keep a little bit of a perspective here. So I'm going to go ahead and put this thing here so I don't have to hold the damn phone. All right, so that's what futures halting means. The Fed already just announced a bailout, I guess you want to call it, not a bailout, but a QE, quantitative easing, meaning they're going to buy back treasury bonds from the federal government. They're going to spend $500 billion in treasury bonds. So what does that do? What does that mean? What that means is that the Federal Reserve is going to buy the pieces of paper that we get as a government, meaning they're buying our debt. That's all they're doing. They're buying our debts to lower interest rates. So if I bring up where interest rates are right now, which I can actually bring up on Bloomberg, if you want to go and follow me, if you're in front of your computer, you can go to Bloomberg.com and go to rates on bonds. Right now, actual rates are up, which is pretty weird. I think it's not open yet. Should be bond futures should be up. So I guess I don't have them yet. Maybe it's delayed. So anyway, so they're just buying bonds to lower interest rates. The Fed funds rate was lowered about, I think, 75 basis points to 0.25%, which is crazy because for the most part, it comes in as lowering interest rates for the most part to bank lending. Does that mean that your credit card interest rates are going to go down? So no, it doesn't, because credit card interest rate is still at 26%, 19%, 10%, whatever. That doesn't affect you as a consumer. It only helps the banks. So keep in mind, that really only helps the banks. So why are things moving up like Bitcoin? Why is Bitcoin moving up? Well, remember, that's priced in dollars. What the Fed just did was actually flood the market full of dollars. So right now, Bitcoin just came back down about 7%. But yeah, that's where we are. So gold is looking very attractive. Again, when the Fed starts piling in more monetary policy of flooding the market of dollars, it makes the dollars less valuable, the prices of dollars. So gold looks more attractive. Silver looks more attractive. And they are up in the futures. Silver is up about 3%. Gold is up about 2%. So that's the basics of it. So, and they're also buying some MBS. MBS is mortgage-backed securities. What that does, it brings the demand for mortgage-backed securities. Remember, they bundle all the mortgages together. Think of the Big Short. And it lowers mortgage rates lower. So the Fed actually right now is speaking. If you want to go on CNBC, you can go ahead and listen to it. I think they're talking about it. Or you can go to the Federal Reserve's website. It's audio only. So right now I'm getting a lot of questions. Should I buy? Well, you can't buy anything now unless you're buying futures because the market's not open. Again, we have our target, 2,300. 2,300 is our target to buy stocks. Right now, we're holding on. We have what we have. We have our portfolio. We haven't sold anything in the portfolio, but we haven't added any more exposure. We haven't bought anything. Again, just trading options, calls and puts. That's what we've been doing. So for the most part, we leave it at that. Calls and puts. Calls on the rips, obviously. If you get some short covering, you can play some calls the same day or some puts on day trading for the week. Again, it just works that way. So again, the Fed cutting interest rates does not bring a vaccine. The Fed cutting interest rates does not make people go travel or buy stuff or go to the bars or go to the restaurants. It does not provide relief to workers who can't work. because they've been laid off, for example, or they're sick and they can't miss work, that doesn't change anything. So again, nothing has really changed. New York City's closing schools, Ohio's closing schools, LA's closing schools, Miami's closing schools. Nothing has changed in that end. The virus has not gone away. Again, we talked about it before. The virus, yes, is a medical thing, it's a health thing, but again, this is an economic thing too. So you can't say we're not in a financial crisis. Technically, we're not. It's not 2008. That's a lending, banking crisis, but the Fed is almost treating it like it. Now, flooding the market full of liquidity does not do anything. Today, with that Fed cut, do you feel richer today? No, I don't think you feel richer today. And the market is reflecting that. It's showing that the market's down because of this Fed action. This kind of big bazooka action is showing a little bit of panic. So, I mean, what do you think the market's going to react? So again, could we bounce back tomorrow upside a little bit? Sure, we could. But the trend line stays the same. 2,300 is still my level to buy, and I'm going to stick to that level. And once I do, I'm going to start buying stocks again. But I want a little more to go down. Nikkei, the Japanese futures are down 4.7%. So that's where we are. Our members right now have AMD puts. They closed at 43. We have the 40 puts. We're still in them. We're still going to bank on them. Of course we are. So that's where we are right now. And I just want to kind of explain what's going on. Is it a panic? Guys, we had 2 limit downs last week. You should be definitely used to it. I mean, it's just volatility. Volatility is wild. Everything's going to be almost day traded for the most part, and just leave it in there. So, I mean, continuation to the downside is what we're getting. I mean, nothing has really changed in our thesis. I think we still get down to 2,300 due to the fact that this is a consumer-led drawdown because people are not going to shop. People are not going to go ahead and travel. Travel is a big deal. The best way to measure an economy, in my opinion, if you're a consumer and you're just walking around, check the airports. If people are traveling, that's a good thing for the economy. Business travel, travel for leisure. If people are at the mall shopping, I don't know if anyone who's shopping right now, you're more than likely going to probably be holding back from buying that nice wallet or watch or car because you're worried about what's the future. So again, it's all the consumer. 70% of the economy is the consumer. So you have to understand that. With that being said, I think we get a little more downside. Again, don't panic. It's not a depression, not the end of the world. What we've been saying is stack cash, kind of hold back on any big purchases. And if you want to trade this market, put options are the best bet. Again, you can actually trade put options, ride the market down, ride the market up with options. Again, you don't get a PDT rule if you have a tier 2 cash account with TD Ameritrade. So I highly recommend you do that. We do that for our 10K challenge. Last week was very volatile and we made money. And I'm pretty sure you can with this kind of movement. So 2,300 is the 2018 December low. That'll retest and then we should bounce from that level. 1,800 would be a full 57% drawdown from the top, which is 2008 financial crisis levels. If we touch 1,800, all bets are off for the most part. So let's go ahead and answer some questions. I didn't read a bunch of questions, so if you asked a question, go ahead and ask again, I'll answer. Why does everyone say options will be disabled? Options will not be disabled. CBOE is still open, NYSE is still open. I don't know where you're getting that information. But hope everyone has a nice day. Can you explain the difference between buying a stock in a company and buying into a fund? Would it be better to buy Dow 2300? Dow 2300, you mean S&P 2300. Mutual fund is just a pool of companies held together in a fund. Shorting tomorrow, okay. Market makers are going to disappear and remove themselves from this. Can you say this live is going to leave? Yeah, I'll save it. I'll send it on YouTube. Options disabled? That's not true. We have not heard anything about options disabled. Are yields going down? I have to see where yields are, but they will be going down. Can you put this on live? Yes, this will be on YouTube. Dollar collapse? Not a dollar collapse. We're still the reserve currency in the world, but it's falling. Can gold get above 1,600? Gold is $51 away from 1,600, and it will. You good at Warzone? I'm okay. Space puts, we got to see the volume. TDA auto exercise your contract. They can, so make sure if it's in the money, you need close. Do you think puts are smart for tomorrow? We got to see how we open. Guys. Why did the market tank after the Fed reduce interest rates? It's tanking because it's not enough. It's not enough, guys. Remember, that's just helping banks. You're not helping individuals who are getting laid off or who are not going to work or who are sick. Again, the Fed did not provide a vaccine that I know of. Apple puts, we'll see. Our SPY puts good so far. Are you approved gold call tomorrow? Let's see how we open. I don't know the future. For all we know, we could bounce tomorrow. Gold standard, that's never going to happen. Airlines funding going to change their standing? Who knows? Oil companies are selling long position? No, get away from oil. How does Fed move impact real estate? If you're buying MBS, which is mortgage-backed securities, That means that interest rates for mortgages should go lower. I appreciate all the posts on top of the news. Hey, you're very welcome. Short banks long term. If yields fall, banks will fall too. That'd be the first stock I may be buying at 2,300. Thoughts on leverage trade right now? Stay away. Stick to cash, guys. Time to renew the mortgage? Yes. If you come back down in interest rates, definitely refinance. Any recommendations for funds to invest in? As of right now, we're not buying anything. Good time to buy Bitcoin. I'm buying Bitcoin every week, auto pay. That's how I do it. I'm from Colombia. Hey, saludos. I have some money in conservative moderate funds. I lost $2 million already. Should I move the money to or fixed rent fund? If you need the money, close out. If you don't, keep it as is. SPY below 200. Not tomorrow, that's for sure. We're at 267.45 right now. Will house values go down? House values are based on the neighborhood and the demand. This is not 2008, just a heads up in regards to real estate. Refinancing bubble in real estate? That's hard to say. I mean, as long as people can afford it. What data will you use for confirmation that the bottom is supported? 2,300, like I said, is the 2018 December bottom on the S&P. 1,800 is a full 57% drawdown from the top. That's exact number that we got in 2009, which is the worst of the financial crisis. So 1,800 to me is scorched earth. If we break that, it's going to be scary. You're a legend? No, you're a legend. Thank you. Banks fall with rate cut, they will. If oil and energy stocks, should I sell or hold? I would probably sell them. Housing crash coming soon? No. How many years do you think it takes for cruise lines to cover? I honestly think when it comes to cruising, I honestly think, in my opinion, that sector is going to be done without a bailout. I think Carnival, Norwegian, and Royal Caribbean will be bankrupt without a full bailout from the federal government. If not, those companies will cease to exist. Worries of 401ks or lockup funds. Again, unless you plan to retire tomorrow or the next 6 months, there's nothing really to worry about your 401k. Are coronavirus stocks? No, those corona stocks are not safe because they don't have a vaccine yet. JNUG dropped 97%. I picked some up. Do you know the big drop? Yeah, everyone sold their gold in order to cover their positions. Do you trade Forex? No, we don't. Cheers from Chile. Hey, thank you so much. You think this is an election push trying to manipulate the markets too? No, I hardly doubt that the markets, Europe, Asia, banks, the Fed, school system, Walmart, Target, all these companies are all conspiring to beat President Trump. I really doubt that. 2-week quarantine coming next week for the USA. Could happen. What software do you use to track the market? Think or Swim, TD Ameritrade. Is this the best time to refinance home with money? I mean, again, if you want to refinance your home and you want to lower your rate and the rate's better than what you have now, absolutely. Will the value of the US dollar fall? It is falling right now. What happens if we break 1,800? If we break 1,800, it's going to get extremely ugly because then you're going to get a lot of people who over leverage on their stocks, have margin calls, and they'll have to sell, and it'll create a spiral down. If we break 1,800, in my opinion, it's going to be a depression, and that's not going to be good. How many years have we been trading? We've been trading now options for about a good 4 years. Gambling stocks, stay away. Calls from GLD. I will be watching GLD tomorrow. War on oil prices, consequences? Yeah, prices are falling. Dow 12K coming? No. We're at 22,000. That's probably not going to happen. If it does, that's scary times. When NASDAQ hit 2,300, no, we're at 7,541. That's hell on earth if we haven't. Uber a good buy? Do we trade futures? Sometimes. I'm not trading futures right now. Is Uber a good buy? I own Uber. I'm a college kid looking to start investing when we bottom out. You'd recommend index funds. If you have less than 25,000, index funds. What about private student loans? Can I forbear those? You have to contact your loan provider. I'm not really sure. Italy just received 360 more cases of corona. Will that be happening in the US? I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I mean, I can just hope for the best and prepare for the worst. Can short selling be restricted for a long period of time? It has never happened in the US, but could it happen? Anything could happen. For all we know, the market could be closed for 2 weeks. We don't know. Will most companies lower their dividend payout for AT&T? AT&T telecom is still going to be relatively unaffected with this kind of coronavirus stuff. People are still going to use their cell phones. So I don't think they'll cut their dividend. Where did you acquire your market acumen? From reading way too much. Should I be good if I have 20 months of expenses? Absolutely. That's great. Congratulations. What's your take on triple witching on Friday? Oof, that's going to be crazy. It's a good time to refinance if you can. Any marijuana stocks look attractive now? I'm not buying any stocks until 2,300. Another limit down coming? We are at limit down. How do you feel about cannabis companies? No, I'm not a scientist. What do you feel about cannabis companies? They're great. Again, just don't try to catch a falling knife. Let's get 2,300 out of the way first. Why is the Chinese market not dropping much? Because they're controlled by the government. Duh. Option trading or equity options. Do you have trading videos for your options paid group so I'm not stuck paying you and then not knowing how to pay options? Yeah, G.A.R Capital Training.com is the way to go. That's the best place to learn. Why aren't you a doctor or scientist? I don't know. I like being a trader more. Buy Pfizer. Pfizer's fine. Again, 2,300. I'm not buying stocks. What would you advise someone learning to trade stocks? Read and demo trade, or actually write down the stocks you like. If I bought SPY end of day, it would be a jackpot. Well, if you held it, you're actually going to be in the red, but either way. It infuriates me that investment banks are telling their customers to buy this dip when they're very well, they're nowhere near the bottom. That's really up to them. I don't represent a bank. All in on SPY puts. We're never all in on anything, guys. You think 23 happened for sure? If it doesn't happen, when will you buy? I would say if we don't hit 2,300 and we have back-to-back green days, meaning Monday and Tuesday or Tuesday and Wednesday, green closes, like the Dow Jones and the S&P close green. I don't care if it's 100 points or 50 points. Back-to-back green days, that's going to be a green light for me to start getting some more. How do you see BA stock? BA just took a big credit line, so more headlines coming. I would stay away from right now. Opinion on which would be the best to invest in. Triple M, which is 3M, Win or Cat, 3M. Puts on AAL, we'll see at the open. Why is clean energy stock going down? Guys, everything is going down. It's not pick and choose. It's a market-wide sell. What's your thought on the rate cut and quantitative easing? My thoughts on the rate cut is that it's almost inciting kind of a panic for the banks. It's insinuating that it's a financial crisis when we were told constantly that it's not a financial crisis. It is a health crisis. Now it looks like a financial crisis. What do people do when they panic? They sell. So I don't think it's even, I don't even think it's enough. I think we need to make $1 trillion stimulus package for consumers. Like I said, I made a deal where I said, hey, if I gave you an $800 check or $1,600 to travel on an airline and it won't expire for 3 years, what would you take? That would stimulate airlines. That would stimulate cruise lines. For example, if I said $800 stimulus check so you can go shopping, or you can go on a cruise for $1,800, like a voucher, and it would be stimulated. It would be backed by the government. That's somewhere to get people going, to start going. So something around that level, some kind of tax break where everyone gets a check so they can actually start spending again, because that's going to get you, that's going to move the market up, move the needle. This kind of action doesn't do anything. What happens to the auto industry? Cheaper cars? Absolutely. In order to sell, they're going to have to lower prices. Greetings from Puerto Rico. Greetings. Is Tesla buy at 2,300? Tesla is not at 2,300. You mean S&P? Refinancing a mortgage? If you want to, go for it. Should I buy a house around this time? I would stay away from any kind of big purchases for right now. If you have the money and you have emergency savings and the house was ready to go for you, go for it. If that's what you want to do. What are your thoughts on space next 3 to 5 years? A lot higher. I'm an investor in space and I own it. Hypothetical BABA price in 5 years. I mean, hypothetical higher. I don't have a price number. Just guess some should say thanks for your welcome. Yeah, Powell's talking right now. Right now, the banks have stopped any kind of buybacks. Just a heads up. Apple has closed all their stores in the U.S. Will that impact their stock? Well, it impacted because the market's down. But remember, they still sell stuff online, guys. And they still have other businesses like Apple TV. They have the cloud. So they have services like iTunes and their Apple Music. So they'll be fine. They have tons of cash. But I actually applaud them for closing their stores to stop this spread. Your top stocks when SPY hits the bottom. SPY-G, Apple, Microsoft, Facebook. Those are the companies I want to add my positions to if we hit the bottom. Again, the companies that have been absolutely nuked. Banks I'm going to start buying at 2,300 because I know they'll bounce back. AT&T, add to my Verizon position. All those names that have been smoked, I'm going to go ahead and do that if we hit 2,300. Disney, Microsoft, and Disney too. Disney, Microsoft, you may still wait a little more, guys. We don't know the earnings yet too. Keep in mind, stocks may be more expensive. We recommend SPY puts and not hard buyout. Don't do anything too far out. Things can change. So again, it's really just day to day. So, I mean, I'm day trading options, guys. I wouldn't do long-term options. Buffett was a genius, put a lot of cash in Kroger months ago. And Buffett, you can become a millionaire by an accident, but you don't become a billionaire by accident. What are your thoughts on the next one? Stay away from oil, guys. SPX or SPY? SPYs for options. SPYs for options trade. What about small restaurants? They're going to take a hit, guys. I highly recommend if there's a place that you like to go to, a bar, a small restaurant, or a small mom and pop, maybe a barber shop that you frequent, go ahead and swing by them. Use their service. If not, drop some money for them. I went ahead and went to my barber this weekend, and I gave him 3 haircuts in advance. I paid him 3 months, 3 haircuts in advance, because I know that's going to help him moving forward. And he really did appreciate it, guys. So, what I'm going to do too is I spoke to my team. We're going to do, once this goes out, we're going to start going to hospitals and start giving, kind of like, breakfast, coffee and donuts or whatever, some thank you baskets to those healthcare workers, public workers, people that work in grocery stores that are stocking the shelves for you guys, working extra time. And, you're talking about the police officers that can't take a day off, firefighters that can't take a day off, first responders that can't take a day off. Thank those guys if you see them, because they don't have the option to stay home and work from home like we do if we do. So again, thank those individuals that are working hard, retail workers too, that are stocking those shelves. So, that's something to think about. But again, if you go to a nail salon, if you go to a barber shop, or there's a bar that you frequent, swing by, give them a little something, because they may be hurting for cash flow if they close. Maybe there's a restaurant that you like. Swing by, man, give them an extra $30, a tip or something. This is a time we need to all come together and help each other out, because it's very unprecedented. Volatility is one for the books. 8 of the biggest banks say they will suspend share buybacks. Yep. My thoughts on that is that they almost have to, if they're going to go ahead, and that tells me a lot about the business, because they know that if they're stopping their buybacks, that means they know their share price is going to go down. So it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. What's the next move in the stock market? Options shorting. Options, as always, we've been trading options in a bull market. We'll trade options in a bear market. JWN, I think that's Nordstrom. Stay away from retail for right now, guys. If there's only a retail stock that I like, for the most part, it's Amazon, it's Target, it's Walmart, it's Costco. Stick to those guys. What happened to no income tax for the rest of the year? Again, that's just floating around. I mean, that's nothing confirmed. That's a lot of revenue for the government. They just can't say that. Remember, that has to be passed by Congress. Should I sell my car today to buy puts? No, thank God. We trade futures sometimes, but obviously I can't trade futures if I'm having this live conversation with you. More red than green this week. More red than green this week. Yes, sir. If I have SPY puts, strike price 260, expiring December 2020, should I keep holding? I would keep holding it. Best research is to learn options. I agree. Can we avoid depression? Yes, we can avoid depression recession, let's just say, if we get a vaccine for this virus. Absolutely. If we get a vaccine, markets are going to shoot up. Do you think there will be a ban on short trading? I have no idea. What about Solar City? Buy and hold? If you like it and you own it, just keep it. But I'm not buying anymore. You're giving free game. You said read, but where do you go to get this info? Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg, CNBC, all that information. I learned how to about investing going to Barnes & Noble's and having a cup of coffee and just reading. That was my thing. Just get anything I can get my hands on and reading. Fed live call. Yep, and I'm having this call with you guys. What will happen on earnings? God knows what we're going to get. Top 3 finance books. There's tons, guys. It's on the highlights, under highlights in G.A.R Capital Instagram. Check it out. Riches are made in recession. Riches are not made in recession. They're transferred from the impatient to the patient. Any store in Miami that still has toilet paper? I have no idea. You looked into Roshi? No, I have not. Are there any brokers other than Robinhood that does instant settlement? That I don't even touch Robinhood. How do you get rich in these times? By being smart and being patient. Will you buy Amazon, and when, if it hits 2,300? If the stock market, S&P 500 hits 2,300, I will start buying stocks, like I said. Where do you read to know all this information? Bloomberg, Wall Street Journal, CNBC, Barron's, The Economist, Financial Times. Opinion on companies being over-levered and government spending debt with all the market conditions. It's not good. It's not good. You're going to have to pay the bill sometimes. When S&P 2300 hits what to buy, again, it's pretty simple. If you're just a very beginner investor, S&P 500 index fund. Keep life simple. Keep it easy. Like I said, keep the companies that you know and love, that you use every day. If you have an Xbox, Microsoft. If you have a cell phone company, Verizon or AT&T. Those kind of names. Again, where do you shop at? Do you shop at Costco? Buy some Costco. Do you have a favorite cannabis company to look for where they're cheap? I'm not buying any stocks, but the only one I like is CGC. Right on. Thank you so much. A lot of thumbs up. Thanks. BTC just dropped 6% long ago. Did you go to college? If so, what did you study? I actually went to college and I dropped out. I'm not advocating to drop out of college. I started as a history major and then ended as a finance major and dropped out. Did we just hit a circuit breaker? Yes, not a circuit breaker. We hit limit down. It's different. Any thoughts on Nikola Hydrogen Tech? No idea. Diarad, he recommends, CGC, yeah. You should do a top 10 stocks when ES is 2,300. Maybe we'll do something like that. Sure. Any opinions on Book Street? Again, check out the highlights under books. When do you think it'll be a good time to buy the dip? 2,300 in S&P. Big drop tomorrow. It's looking like it. What impact will zero rate cuts have in the market? Obviously, not much. Limit down. Here, I'll even show you. It turned off. Sorry. Okay. I bought one Bitcoin at 5,300. Nice. Okay, so what indicators are best for options? Moving average and volume. Earnings are going to be bad. Maybe. I'm here to be my first buy. Investopedia is really good too. GLD, limit down. Let's go. Okay, we're so behind. Okay, guys, we're going to leave it there. I'm going to post this on YouTube for you guys. I have a video to get ready for my team on premium options and students. So we talk about the market. We prepare for the rest of the week. So I got to get ready for that. So we'll leave it there. I'll go ahead and post this on YouTube for you guys. I appreciate all your time. Again, I just wanted to get back with you and give you some information and go from there. What is the ticker for S&P futures? It's /ES. ES. Can you explain futures real quick and how they move before the market starts moving? It's just futures. Again, it's just futures market. It's contracts based on the stock market. And we'll leave it there, guys. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Don't worry about this, guys. Try not to lose sleep. You know, the markets are not everything. The most important thing to worry about, guys, or think about is your family and your health. Money will always be there. The market will always be there. We're going to recover, guys. Don't feel, the need that the world's going to end, because it's not. Again, this is just a small action that's happening right now. We're going to get through this. I promise. I promise in probably 2022, we're not even going to have this conversation anymore. So don't feel too bad. Again, focus on your family. Focus on the things that are most important. If you're home working, spend time with your family. Give your mother a call. Give your grandmother a call. Wish them the best. That's the most important thing, guys. Not everything is money. Keep in mind, not everything is money. And we'll leave it at that, guys. Have a great rest of your evening. GARCapitalFX.com is the website. Make sure to subscribe on G.A.R Capital on YouTube. Have a great one, guys. Appreciate your time. Have a good one. CEO of G.A.R Capital. Keep it locked, as always.